We're going to continue today's class where we left off, as the Alter Rebbe says, that those who brings the Maimon Azal, that those who rejoice in endurance of pain, the pasuk says on them, "Va'eyav kitseis Hashem b'gvurosei," that those who demonstrated their absolute love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they're going to experience one day the complete Seis Hashemesh, the emerging of the sun with its greatest intensity. And that's where we left off. This quote of this saying of our sages of blessed memory, in the context, not to elaborate much again, in the context in the context of the message with Alter Rebbe saying here that what does someone do with different challenges which comes his way in his journey during his lifetime, which Alter Rebbe explains over here how crucial and essential is to be in a constant state of joy in order to fulfill our mandate in keeping the Torah, learning the Torah, doing its mitzvahs. And Alter Rebbe explained how crucial that a person, and in other words, the only way a person can do it when he stands in a constant, uplifted spirit, in a spirit of joy, a spirit of elation. Other than that, he probably will not be successful in triumphing over his Yetzer Hara. So Alter Rebbe asked in the beginning of this part of the chapter, how is it? How can you demand it from a Jew if people are challenged? Physical challenges, unfortunately, or can be challenged. Let's use those terms. We should never be challenged, but man can be challenged with physical challenges, and then he'll go on with spiritual challenges. So Alter Rebbe tackles each challenge which one could have in order, and the purpose and objective of the Alter Rebbe, in order to explain the Yid, explain the Jew, that in any situation that he might be, in any experience, in any type of experience that he or she is experiencing, it should never contradict this Avodas Hashem, serving God, with joy and gladness of heart. Again, as it being crucial and a necessity in order for us to triumph the Yetzer Hara and do what we ought to do. So he says, again, explained in the previous weeks, that when a person has these physical challenges, he should know that not only it's coming from the same place where the apparent good comes from, but more so that more so it's coming from a deeper place within God. Again, you may see the explanation to this in the last class, even the one before, kosherdoom.com and Tanya, click Tanya, or with the text on Tanya Online, on the website tanyaonline.com. So as Alter Rebbe again explained in the previous part of this chapter, which we elaborated on in this previous class, that it's not only it's coming from the same place, it's coming from a deeper dimension within God. And because it's coming from a deeper dimension within God, therefore when that will come to fruition, the deeper type of the deeper dimension within God comes to fruition. So then the good, even the apparent good, is manifest with much more intensity and much more, and in so much greater abundance. Again, we explained last week, because the deeper part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though it's usually stays within and stays discreet and stays hidden, and therefore it doesn't come into a state of manifestation, and unfortunately the person in this world experiences the experiences which he endures, this which he experiences, not necessarily comes in an obvious good. God forbid, can be quite on the contrary. But the reason is because it comes from a hidden dimension within Hashem. But ultimately, this hidden dimension within Hashem, when that itself one day will come into will be realized, will come into its full expression, so then the good which man will experience will be tremendous, much greater than the Tov HaNireh VaNigla, which is the norm, even the blessed good which is apparent and revealed, because this is coming from within a very extremely deep dimension within God, which God is the ultimate good. So when the ultimate good comes to full expression, then it's something beyond the norm, totally beyond the norm, and that is the meaning of the pasuk. And those who remain focused, and they despite the challenges they had, they demonstrated their ava to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, their love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Loving those who love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, meaning to say that they put their challenges in the appropriate perspective, knowing that it's coming in a deeper dimension within Hashem. Kitseis Hashem b'gvurasi, when the sun will then come out for them, it'll be b'gvurasi, with great gvura, great intensity. And what is their joy? What is va'ayabam? What it means? What way did they demonstrate their love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? The way they demonstrated their love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they were able to maintain that simcha. They were able to maintain that joy, which is so crucial, and so essential, and so vital, in order to be matzliach, to be a success, to be successful in one's service to his Creator. Because the joy is mi'avosei. Their joy, they maintain their focus. They were able to actualize their joy or experience their joy based on their love of Hashem, kirvas Hashem, the closeness of Hashem, yeser mikol chayil mazeh, greater than all the manifest good which is in the package of life in this world. In other words, the chayil mazeh, the life of this world, consists of, as we mentioned, is generally bona chayil mezena, which is health, healthy children, an abundance of parnasa, and parnasa, livelihood. But they, even they were challenged in any of these areas, and God forbid, all these areas, nonetheless, they were able to stay focused and demonstrate their joy, because what they were focused is on the love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the closeness of Hashem. As we said, those who experience difficulties, they are ultimately connected to a deeper dimension with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this Yid, this Ayhavav, which means these Yidden, which demonstrated the love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu despite this challenge, to them, what was in front and center of their mind is Kirvas Hashem, that they are experiencing a closeness of Hashem despite it's reflecting in a negative way, but negative on the surface. But as we said before, anything negative on the surface, where the godliness or the good, the apparent good, is not, they don't experience the apparent good, it's not a revealed good, comes from a deeper level within HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So they appreciated this kirvas Hashem, this closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, more than all the apparent good, which was a clear expression of their absolute love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kidiksiv, like it says in the pasuk, the greater is your kindness more than life. And again, life, the way it consists of bona chayim zeno, or generally about physical comfort, or comfort the way it expresses itself in our physical life. Teiv, the pasuk says, Teiv chazdecha. The Navi says, Teiv chazdecha mechayim. The better is your kindness, which means about you, better you than the experiencing the better life. In other words, experiencing life the way it's manifest in the physical, the way it expresses itself, rather in the physical terms. And this is the focus of the Ayav, of those who love HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They are focused on the Taiv, the goodness which is associated with Chazdecha, the goodness which is associated with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, b'chvei deva'atzmei, more than the Chaim, because they know what the fact they're experiencing. The fact their experience consists of helen. In other words, they don't see the good expressing itself in Bona Chaim Zayin, in other words, in this which constitutes life. They understand that this is coming from a deeper level of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If it's a deeper level of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's a deeper level of Teiv. a deeper level of good, because God is the ultimate good. So they are able to focus and say, your kindness. And it's about you greater than Mechaim, than life, which would again express itself in the overt comforts and so on. And Bekirvas Hashem, he be Yesesei, so Maila in Kates. And the truth of the matter is, this is the way it is, that when a person does not see the good manifest in this physical world, he understands that it's ultimately a deeper level with God. And because when you're dealing with Alma Diskasi, you're dealing with this inner dimension of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is infinitely greater than the revealed dimension of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the revealed expression of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when a person again does not experience he doesn't experience good begolui, in other words, revealed good. He knows it's coming from Alma Diskasi, from the deeper dimensions within God. Hence, he understands that the deeper dimensions within God, which is the concealed, God concealed dimensions, the Alma, the Iskasia, the hidden worlds, are infinitely greater or infinitely closer to God than the way God expresses himself in a revealed manner. And therefore, he is excited that he reached and he is able to touch a deeper level within HaKadosh Baruch Hu, more, and again infinitely more, than if he would just experience overt goodness in this physical world. Because Sham Chav Yenoze, because we want to deal with, when we think where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is more in concealment, or HaKadosh Baruch Hu is more in discreet, in a state of reservation, more than he is in his state of revelation. As we mentioned 2 weeks ago, the classes, even it works like that, lahavdil by man as well. Or the truth of the matter is, the reason why it works by us is because we're ultimately we evolve from the way things are above. Adam el Elyon, man is compared to his creator. So by man as well, where is the real me? Is in the words I say, or my external expressions, or in the reserved part of me? Obviously, it's in the latter. My thoughts, it says the person a person cannot really express what's really going on in his heart, because when expression is associated with or any expression which is associated with revelation, I speak, so I reveal to the listener this which I want to convey to him. But that's already the end of me, or the way I step away from my inner self, and I put certain messages into words, and I convey it to someone else, because it's a part of me, it's the most external part of me, which is there to relate to another person. Or I do something for someone else, it's maisa, it's a very external dimension within the person. So the truth of the matter is, within speech itself, there are different levels. There are people, or one can, or certain times of a person's life, especially sensitive times of a person's life, the person could express in himself, within his speech, he could express what's really going on within his soul. His expression, nafshe yotze bedabri, his soul came out with his speech. But that's a rarity, because, in other words, in the comparison, because the truth of the matter is, like we say, liba lepumele galia, man cannot really express his in the core, this threads and the core threads of his soul in speech, because the whole notion of speech is the way the person removes himself from himself and expresses himself to someone else, to another entity outside of himself. That's what speech is all about. So then someone's going to say, well, isn't the opposite true? When you speak, then I know who you are. Then I can relate to you. When you're for yourself, when you're by yourself, when you stand in a state of reservation, when you're reserved, and when you're within your deep thoughts and your heart feelings, then I have no understanding of who you are and what you're all about. So maybe the opposite is true. But we know it's not so. We know it's not so. It's only It's only the it's just, in other words, the dibur, the fact that it's a state that we see the dibur classified as a state of revelation, a state of expression. That doesn't say that that's closer to me. Quite on the contrary. The reason why I can express myself in these words is because I distance myself from the core essence of myself. So the deeper when a person comes within himself is within himself, the less he can express himself. The less of that core essence can be expressed. It's when he removes himself from his core essence, then he's able to find words to express himself or to put a message into words. But the whole point again of speech is the way I express myself to someone else. I leave myself for someone else, even though that's a state of expression of revelation, and this is expression of concealment, a non-revealed experience, an experience of non-revelation. But the experience of non-revelation is not a deficiency. Quite on the contrary, it's deeper within myself. The deeper I go within myself, the less revealed I am. The less it's a less revealed experience. And so too when it comes to Kodesh Baruch Hu. When someone sees the good, Kodesh Baruch Hu, Kodesh Baruch Hu's kindness coming to a state of expression, state of revelation, certainly this is what we seek and this is what we ask and this is what we pray for. But God forbid when someone experiences the opposite, he does not see God's expression coming to a state, in a state of overtness or manifestation. So then he understands, he's able to put it in perspective and say, no, well, this is a deeper level within God, because Sham Chev Yenusei, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is more in hiding, his core essence is more in hiding, much more than when it is when it is revealed again, the similar way it works, lahavdil by man. Like the pasuk says, "V'yeshev b'seiser el." You know, I don't know where God is sitting. He's sitting in the supreme concealment. That's where he is. That's where his core essence is. So when the person is experiencing concealment, which on the surface it could be devastating, and sometimes it is catastrophic, and so on, but he is now connected to the hiddenness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the core essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, ve'al kain, and therefore, as we mentioned this last week, when this level comes to fruition, when this deepest level within HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to a state of fruition, the good ultimately is explosive. HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides that core essence, like we said, that even within speech sometimes, like the pasuk says, "Nafshe yotze bedabre," that usually when a person speaks, he removes himself from his core essence, and he expresses his whole the whole notion of speech is the way I remove myself from myself and express myself to someone else. Yet we find that certain times, precisely, speech will bring out the nefesh of the soul. And again, it's a rarity, but this is the meaning of the pasuk, "Nafshe yotze bedabre," that his soul emerged within his speech, because it comes to a certain point that a person can ultimately express the core, deepest essence, or the deepest essence of himself in his speech, and it is felt naturally to the listener. It's a total different experience when a person expresses his soul in his speech. People are not, don't make a time and place, are completely. It's a even to the listener, it's a transcendent experience, because something transcendent is being conveyed through the speech as opposed to regular speaking. And even a person could put a bit of his emotion in his speech, and so on and so forth. Intellectual type of. Or the message, the speech is it's an intellectual message. This is all fine, but when the soul comes out, it's a transcendent experience. Time and place don't even play a role at the time, even to the listener, because nafshi yotze bedabre. Similarly, when you're dealing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that even though usually when a person experiences hell and a person experiences concealment on the surface, it's a concealment of godliness, and therefore on the surface it's really it's difficult, it's challenging, and again many times it can reach a state of a catastrophe, catastrophic. But he puts things in perspective. He knows this is with the deeper dimension with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, which usually does not come to expression. Again, lahavdil, the way it works by man. But yet, when that eventually comes, that seiseh, that hiddenness within a Kodesh Baruch Hu, or with the way the Kodesh Baruch Hu, which is Yeshiv b'seiseh elyon, when that comes into fruition, that comes into realization, that comes into a state of manifestation, then the good which ultimately comes forth is enormous, stupendous, is something which is beyond the capacity of man even to, like it says, when that bracha comes through, when it comes from the most inner dimensions within HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is ad b'li dai, the person realizes it's an infinite blessing. As the Gemara goes on, that we have so much and it's so overwhelming that we don't even have many times the container to contain this great goodness, again because it's coming from such a deep level within God. And that's why the pasuk says. That's why the Kitseis Hashem the pasuk says, those who remain focused, Kitseis Hashem b'gvorasi, that Shila'asi, that Valkain, and therefore Zeicha, he merits Litseis Hashem b'gvorasi la'asid lavei. That la'asid lavei in the future he will he will merit to the complete emerging of the sun with its greatest intensity. Which is the emerging of the sun from its confinement, which usually was mechusa by Beilam Hazeh. Usually it's concealed in this physical world. But la'asid, when Mashiach will come, tizgala mikisuyo, it'll be revealed from its hiddenness, from its covering. The hainu, which means sha'oz yizgala almed iskasia, the world is iskasia, the inner dimensions within Hashem, the hidden dimensions within Hashem, that itself will be revealed. It will shine and it will illuminate with great revelation, an intense revelation, for all those who took shelter or who trusted in God and in this physical world. In other words, despite they did not see the revelation in this physical world, but they were chaysim by, they put their trust and they put they put their confidence in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in this world of misteifif and bitzilei, and they assembled in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's shade, which is the Tzeila Chochma, Shubchinas Tzeil V'loi Erev V'teva Niris. And in other words, they gathered in Hashem's shade. And if you look at the difference of a shade or shadow, rather, in as opposed to the light itself, the light, you see the image. By the Tzeil, you see the image, but it's still a dark image. It's not the person himself. It's not the building itself. It's not the clear light, and it's not the clear good. It's just you see again the image, but you don't see, but it remains dark. That's those who gathered in the Tzilei Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Tzeil of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where they did not see the light and they did not see the apparent good. Well, and in the future, precisely they will experience the ultimate good, which means the whole Alma Diskasi, the most inner parts of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the most inner dimension of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, will be revealed precisely to them, for they were able to remain focused in the time when they did not experience the apparent good, the overt good, and they were able to remain focused. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will shine, will allow this Alma Diskasya to be revealed, and then it'll shine and it'll illuminate to them, like it says, Begilui Rava Otzim, with great revelation and intense revelation. Shall we see this Bekarev in a very clear, stark, apparent good? And again, the way he says over here, not stam good, but Gilui Rav, great revelation of great good, or abundance of good, va'atzum, and intense teiv. And again, as we were all chaysim by, we all trusted HaKadosh Baruch Hu at all times. Have a wonderful day.